Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy is one of the best 3D platforming games ever made. It's bright, it's entertaining, and it's so well designed that only a legendary developer like Naughty Dog could pull it off. It was originally released in 2001, but now it's on the PS4.
What in green tarnation do you two want?
Jak and Daxter are two teenagers who travel to the mysterious Misty Island where they witness evil going on. When Daxter falls into a pool of dark ooze, he's transformed into an Ottsel, which is a combination of an otter and a weasel. The quest is then on to transform Daxter back to normal and to stop the evil from taking over the land.
What?
So the tone always maintains this cheeky, cartoony feel throughout, and even though the end of the world may be looming, it always keeps things feeling light-hearted. Jak strangely remains mute throughout the game, I guess trying to be the traditional silent protagonist, but he makes a stark contrast to Daxter, who usually has plenty to say.
Are you gonna keep yapping, or are you gonna help me out of this mess?
Thankfully though, most of his yapping is done just in the cutscenes, so we don't have to listen to him rattle on throughout the gameplay, which is a relief. Plus it's refreshing that the other characters in the game seem to find him just as annoying as the player does, so it's almost like we're in on the joke too and fit in with everyone else in the world in hating Daxter.
Hey baby, what do you say you and I go cruising on this A-Grav Zoomer?
Rule number 1, I don't date animals.
You don't know what you're missing.
The PS4 version of the game looks great with 1080p up-rendering, plus it comes with all of the trophies and fixes that were done to the PS3 version of the game. However, other than for die-hard fans, there's nothing really new here to warrant purchasing it again. But for those who perhaps have never played it, or for those who want an easy way to play it again without having to dust off an old console, I highly recommend trying this one out. Essentially, most of the game is about exploring a bunch of different areas, each filled with a series of different puzzles and minigames to complete in order to earn power cells. You may have to do anything from fishing, herding cows, racing a zoomer, and of course plenty of platforming. The gameplay variety here really is one of the game's greatest strengths, as you never know what to expect next and never get bored of having to do the same thing too many times.
Wait a minute! We are not going back to Misty Island! Are we?
In order to progress to the next set of worlds, you need to collect a certain number of power cells, and there are plenty to collect, so say someone just wants to play through the story, then they can just do the bare minimum in order to advance. If you need 25 power cells to get to the next area, then you can just earn 25 and move on. But for any completionists out there is a lot more to do. As well as the power cells, there's also 7 strange spy flies to collect, plus thousands of eggs to pick up. So it does a good job of catering for everyone, no matter how much or how little you want to do. If you're not enjoying a particular task, then there's no need to struggle at it, because there's plenty of other tasks for you to do, so you can just skip it and try your hand at something else. It keeps the pacing of the game going along nicely, almost as if it's like a sandbox game where it's kind of up to you when you want to move on and do something else. This also gives some good incentive to go back and explore older areas, because there's a good chance that you may have missed something. In fact, on completing the game, I went back to explore and even came across an entire boss that I had missed the first time around.
You did it! You caught 200 pounds of fish!
Obviously you can't skip everything in the game, and that's why there's these targets put in place with things like you need 45 power cells to lift a boulder that's blocking the way. These targets do actually provide some incentive for you to try a little bit harder than you might otherwise, especially if you're very close to finishing a task but not quite there. For example, if you're only a few seconds away from beating the track record in this Zoomer race, then sure you can skip it and go on to do something else. But it makes you think maybe you're going to be stuck for power cells later on, and presumably then the trials are going to be harder. So perhaps it's worth persevering now, seeing as how it may save time later. As it turns out, the levels don't necessarily get much harder, but they do get much bigger. Stepping into one for the first time is kind of like in an RPG when you enter a new town and just see hundreds of side quests pop up from all the different townsfolk. It's like being given the keys to a new playground with lots of different areas to explore and new jobs to complete.
Oh, yes. Oh, it is a sizable contribution. I just hope this power cell adequately represents my gratitude.
The characters here that give some of the quests are all interesting and filled with personality. The tasks that they give are sometimes interesting, although for some reason too often they simply want you to give them 90 eggs, and this happens a lot.
But I would be willing to part with another power cell if you two find me 90 precursor orbs for my research equipment.
So, I got a proposal. Bring me 90 orbs to get me back on my feet and out of this barrel.
Bring me 90 precursor orbs and I'll let the pontoons loose. But I'm not going to fight that monster again.
And why even 90? 100 would seem the more obvious rounded number. I wonder if there's a reason behind it. Anyway, Naughty Dog did a great job of making all the different areas feel alive, with no loading times between them, and even a weather and day-night cycle to make it feel more like a real environment, rather than just a stage in a game. Judging distances can often be tricky in a 3D platforming game, but here it's made a lot easier by the use of your shadow as a guideline as to where you're going to land. Overall, the controls with your jumping and climbing all feel great, almost like an early build of an Uncharted game. The timing of your double jump may take a bit of getting used to, and there is the occasional platform which you feel like you should be able to jump onto, but can't. And this is a little disappointing because it kind of breaks the immersion when what works in one area for no good reason doesn't work in another.
The Red Sage gave up with so little effort. No fun at all.
Gall? Is that you?
Jak and Daxter is a well-crafted platformer that always has you doing something different. It controls well, making it a world that you want to jump straight back into, even after completing it, just to collect a few more of those eggs. And any game that makes you want to 100% it must be doing something right. Until next time, thanks for watching.